In this tutorial, we're going to look at how to do a meeting request with a secondary calendar. One of the nice things we have with Google Apps is the ability to create multiple calendars. You have your primary calendar, but then you can create additional calendars. You can also share those calendars. There's videos on the website to show how to create and share those calendars. Now, a calendar that has been shared with me is this one down here called East Campus Chromebook. And what I first need to do is get the email address for this calendar. To do that, I hit the down arrow. I go to Calendar Settings. And here we see under Calendar Address, we see this very long email address. So what I can do is I just highlight this information. I can right mouse button click and choose Copy, or I could do Control C or Command C if I have a Mac. And then I'll go back to Calendar, and I'm going to go here to my Google Contacts, and you can get to that by just clicking Contacts here. And I'm going to create a new contact. So I create new contact, and I can call this whatever I want to. East Campus Chrome. And I click in the email address, do my Control V or Command V if I'm on the Mac, and then I hit back and I see this. Now, one thing that I have noticed is it will take a little bit of time before I will see this email address or this username in Calendar, and I'll show you what I mean. When I come back here to Calendar, I'm going to go to this next week of August 23rd, and I want to use the Chromebooks at this time. So I'm going to highlight the time. I'm going to go into Edit and say Test Message. And I would give the location where I need the Chromebooks and a description. And then over here, I would type in, I call it EC Chrome, and you'll notice I don't see anything yet. It will take a couple of hours before I can just type in the name and have it show up. So because I copied it, I can paste it again here and hit my add, and you see the email address down here. And then when I hit save, it's going to send a notification or let the customer know that the owner, I hit save, and it's going to add that to the calendar so that the person who manages this calendar can accept or decline it. If I click here, I can actually see it, and here it is, test message number 4. But when I click here and hit edit event, I see that it's not been accepted or declined. Nothing's happened with it yet. So I can go back here. Now, earlier I did these test appointments 1 and test appointment 2. When the owner of the calendar responded to those, I received an email, one where she declined, the other where it was accepted. So I did receive email notification back. So also, if I come here and I click on the email or on the appointment, I see that the line is through there, and if I go edit events, I see that it was declined. No, I couldn't have the Chromebooks at that time. Likewise, if I click on this one, I don't see a line. When I hit edit events, I see the check mark showing that it has been accepted. So you can see it's quite easy to get the email address for the calendar, create the contact for that calendar, and then do meeting request with it. Once again, once it's been accepted or declined by the owner, you will receive an email indicating that. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact training@apu.edu. In this video, we're going to look at how to work with the data that you've collected in a Google form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google Drive, and here is the survey that we created in our first video, and you'll notice a little icon here. It's green with the lines, and it shows that it's a form, but when you open it, it looks very similar to a Google spreadsheet. The one of the differences is here under Form. This is not available in Google Spreadsheet. This is a new menu item when you've created a form. When you click the down arrow, you will see here you can go in to edit the form if you need to make changes, or if you need to send it to someone, or if you want to go to the live form. You can also go here to see a summary of the responses, and also if you have a form where you have a deadline where after a certain point people can't submit their survey information, you can uncheck this box so that the form will stop accepting responses. And of course, you can also delete the form. Another cool feature with Google Forms is here under Tools, where you can set up notification rules. And what this does is it allows you to get an email and know when people have filled out your form. You can, generally with a form, you will check a user submits a form, notify me with, and you can have an email where once a day it sends you an email showing you how many people have filled out the form that day, or you may want it to email you right away. And in this case, you can actually have both of them turned on. I don't need either, so I'm going to cancel out of this. Back under Form, we have this Show Summary of Responses. This brings up a separate window that shows you each question and what the responses were. You know, in the first one, it was filling in just a name so that you see those. You see a little bit more detail on the second question, and then each one you see a breakdown of how many chose what things. For example, here, please select your favorite flavor of ice cream. They could select multiple, and you can see that 6 people picked other. So that would give you some ideas of what to look at. Likewise, a breakdown of what your campus location, that type of thing. So this is just a graphical representation of what your data look like. So I'm going to go ahead and close that window. The nice thing with the information here is because it's in this spreadsheet format, I can pick any of the fields and come here, for example, to please choose campus location. I can hit the down arrow and say sort, and then it's going to put them in alphabetical order because that's what I asked for. You'll notice this is a person here was very, very wordy, so I can adjust columns and you fix that a little bit. I could come here to File and I could print out the information. I could download it as an Excel spreadsheet. I could email collaborators, which we'll talk about in a moment, but I could also email it as an attachment. The collaborators are any people that you've shared the document with. Now, when you created the form and sent out the form, you didn't have to share anything. The link allowed them to access the form. But if you want people to be able to see this information, then you have to come here to the Share button and share this information. It's pretty straightforward. You can look through, you see your answers here. Using the summary of responses is another great way to evaluate your information to see what your results were. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact training@apu.edu.